Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Revival of America podcast. This is Jenny. I'm the owner and the host of the Revival of America. Today we have Captain Kyle in the house, everybody. So please, if you have a question for Captain Kyle, feel free to raise your hand and I will unmute your mic at some point in this podcast. Also, too, if you cannot speak, please write your question underneath his picture on the wall and I will be reading. Oh, actually, Kelly will be reading the questions at some point in this podcast. Everybody, once again, please, please, please be careful who you listen to, who you follow, and what you're putting into your mind. A lot of fear mongering, doom and gloom. A lot of these podcasters, influencers, whatever you want to call them, are starting to show their true colors. So please, everybody, be careful who you are following. The more these people talk, the more they expose themselves. So, everybody, it is time. We are here. Pick that side. Also, too, if you get a random text, email, or some kind of BS saying it's me, no, it is not me. I will not randomly reach out to you, ask you if you're ready for the scare event, crypto, your finances, anything like that. Please make sure you block, report them, and let me know so I can make sure they're not here in the chat. Also, too, you can follow us on the podcast host or the social medias. We are being listened to in over 100 countries. So we are making some great noise, everybody, some positive noise. So please go follow any or all of them. The podcast hosts are iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google Breaker, Pocket Cast, Podbean, Riverside, Amazon Music. Social medias are Jenny Jareed Facebook, at Jenny_Jareed X, at J Jareed Rumble, at J Jareed True Social, at J Jareed Instagram, the Revival of America right here on Telegram, and the Revival of America on YouTube. And then at the official J Jareed over on TikTok. Excuse me, guys. All of them are verified, and I'm doing that so you guys know those are my legitimate accounts, except for YouTube, True Social, and TikTok. I'm still waiting for those verifications, but these are my legitimate accounts. So please go follow one or all of them so you can make sure you're up to date on what is going on. Because as we are seeing everything unfold, everybody, we are here. This is it. This is what we've been gearing up for so long. So please be careful, stay out of the noise. Now is the time to focus on God. It's always been time to focus on God, but even more now than ever, stay out of the noise, stay vigilant, head on a swivel, because I think it's going to get more crazy. And we'll listen to Captain as he speaks. And if you didn't listen to his truck talk the other day, it was absolutely amazing. It was spot on. He did another one today. And I think you guys should all watch it along with the two videos that he posted to go along with his truck talk today. They are on the wall. They're also on his wall over there on Captain's wall. So please check them out, everybody, because I think a lot of people are missing the bigger picture here. We know all these people have been brought into the country, military aged individuals from all different countries, not just Mexico. So I think we're missing a bigger picture when it comes to the Muslim Brotherhood. So please, everybody, stay out of the areas that you are hearing that protests are going to be in. I have been given information of where they are going to be taking place here in the Phoenix area. So please, stay out of the way, guys. Remember, let the military do their job. They are here. But just we need to pay attention and be really vigilant and pay attention to the Muslim Brotherhood as well, because I think a lot of people are missing the talk and watching that as well. Also, too, everybody, I've created a email specifically for the submissions. If you have a story or a journey to tell, it is TROA submissions at yahoo.com, and that stands for the Revival of America, the TROA. This way, your submissions don't get caught up in my emails, my everyday emails on my other email, the Revival of America at yahoo.com. So if you have a story or journey, reach out to me via that email, TROA submissions at yahoo.com. We are going to vet these stories because unfortunately we do have people that are trying to make up stories just to get on the podcast. So, and then once we do, we'll reach out to you, and then you yourself is going to tell the story, your journey, so your voices are heard. Because remember, it's your story, your voice that matters, and that's going to help to shape this new world that we are coming into. And last but not least, everybody, please sign up for the newsletter. It is free. You get the weekly show lineup with the guests and the times, as well as the updates on the podcast. And that's at therevivalofamerica.com. And without further ado, Captain's in the house, and we're going to get right to it, everybody, because there's a lot going on, and I know Captain has a lot to say. And please, everybody, bring your questions to us. We're here for you. Things are getting spicy out there, and I think they're just going to continue to get more spicy. So what's up, Captain? How are you, my friend?
Hello, hello, hello.
Mic check, mic check. You sound great. Yay!
Yay!
So, okay. So, are you okay? So, when I
So
heard all of
happy
this,
though.
Say that
Believe
again.
the people.
Yeah, you sound great. No, you sound great. But I'm excited. I was just letting the audience know about your truck talk that you did a couple days ago, or maybe it was yesterday. Great truck talk, by the way. You hit it spot on with Planeteer, with everything that's going on. And then I was getting into your podcast you did right now, I think a little bit ago. I didn't get too far into it, but it kind of ties into what I was talking a little bit about the Muslim Brotherhood. I think. A lot of people are missing that of what also too to be paying attention to. It's not just the Mexicans from Mexico, right? It's also the Al Qaeda and all this kind of stuff. The big
The
time
kitchen,
terrorists.
this is where we're at. The kitchen sink is about to get thrown at us. All right. And that's the whole thing is that they have nothing else but to throw everything, caution to the wind, everything they have to try to break the system right now. That is their intent. And if they just try to do the things that they've done in the past, where it's this one and that one, it would never work. So their idea is that the whole kitchen sink has to come out basically to create enough chaos and enough turmoil that fear will be the driving factor for them to stay in control and power because that's all they care about, nothing else. No matter how they get it. And everybody has forgotten about all of the people that was training in Mexico that was a part of the brotherhood and the videos that we had. I posted it today about a video, that very thing, talking about it. And they didn't just disappear. They came into the damn country and they have been sleepers in the country since then. So this whole thing with the illegals coming into the country, it was all a part of the chaos that they intended to unleash on every place, all over the place at one time. And if you're talking tens of millions of people over the 4 year period, then that's a lot of freaking people that can do, crazy shit all over the place because that's their intent. It's just like, the leaders of these other countries, they're they don't want us to succeed because in doing so they lose power, just like the lady in Mexico. Trump's telling them that the monies that they send back home, basically they're going to tax. And it's like, oh, screw that, because basically we get $60 billion in monies that get sent back home every year, and you're going to tax it. No, 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 no. And so the more people they send over here, the more criminals they send over here, the better it is for them. And that's their intent. But no matter what they do, we already know what's going to happen, and it's already being prepared for, planned out, and they have to commit the crimes so that they can fit the punishment that's coming.
Right, exactly. So let's talk about that, Captain. I know when I saw this happening and the military, National Guard and all that stuff stepping in, I got the chills. I was like, yes, yes, yes. But then you have, obviously the doom and gloomers. And I did tell everybody that about your truck talk today, along with those two videos to check them out. Um, we've got, it could be all kinds of things that can happen, right? So what are your thoughts? We have the parade, Trump's birthday coming up on Saturday. What are your thoughts? How do you think this is going to play out? I mean, the riots are already starting. Some bigger in some of the states, some obviously smaller. But what do you think of this No Kings dealio? And how you, in your opinion, what are your thoughts? How do you think this is going to play out? Do you think Trump is ahead of the game and bringing in all the military equipment in Washington D.C. Obviously, we're seeing military be spread around between New York, Los Angeles. It's happening, right? So, what is your opinion on how this could potentially go down? I know we got to see some chaos. I know we got to see some shit, but I mean, a lot could transpire.
Well, a lot of the states have basically already pre-activated and actually already moved military into key locations. So it's this has been going on for a long time. Military equipment has been being moved around for a long time
Yep.
preparing for this. We are so far ahead of it, knowing that this is coming. And they didn't just start this, but this new the No Kings thing, that's just a propaganda tool for recruitment for people that are potentially on the edge and fringe, but also just useful fucking idiots that can be manipulated, because that's what most of them are.
Yep.
People with an agenda. You take, 10, 20, or 100 really good people that have an agenda and know how to incite people into an idea or a program, then people are sheep. They follow. All it has to, because they use their emotions to play upon them. And the deal is that it doesn't matter what the agenda is, because there's so many things. There's, the Palestine thing, the Gaza thing, the um uh alien thing, and it doesn't matter. It's all played upon people's emotions. But what people don't get is the majority of the shit they see on TV and the internet is all fucking fake. It's AI driven, and it's bots. The news as well. We've
So
told people
yes.
this for a long time. And then
Yep.
Joe Rogan and other people start coming out and talking about it and saying that very thing. Between 50 and 85% of the stuff you see on the internet, and that's influencers included, because people, you don't have a clue how good AI really is and what they can do with it. You have no idea. You're just seeing the stuff that they're letting you see. But the people that are using the stuff you don't get to see is so far advanced. I talked about Palantir, what I can, and I showed some stuff about it today, and what Batman basically was an introduction to it in The Dark Knight. And that was just one, that was just the microphone aspect of it. That's it. And there is a bazillion more parts of that, and then taking that and then merging that AI and that supercomputer hammer into the benevolent quantum AI that is beyond, it's thousands of years beyond people's understanding. And taking that and merging those two AI systems to be able to talk and to communicate and have the driving factor being the quantum benevolent computer driving it. There's nobody, when they say they have it all, they have everything on everything on everything on everything. And you could not imagine how gamed out this is and to what degree of what the capabilities are with this technology. It is far beyond your understanding. And I'm trying to just give people bits and pieces of the understanding, and not to be afraid, because fear is what they were planning to do with it and what they were doing already to control everything. And, the hammer was the computer system, that was the actual supercomputer. And Palantir was the operating system, the AI operating system that drove it. But then you had different programs on top of it that ran, that functioned just like a regular computer does, right? But into a super level. All right. And then scorecard was the program that was used to manipulate the outcomes of all all of the elections around the world. They have been institution changing, swapping, and doing this stuff in color revolutions in these countries all around the world, putting people, their people in place all around. They were taking over everything. And when there was a time when the quantum computers, there was two main quantum systems, a black hat, white hat quantum system. And the quantum white hat AI, which is a benevolent system, looked at the system as that the end game of the black hat system was to actually consume all data. And in consuming all data, it would have actually ended up killing its own self, because that's what that's the life of quantum, is data. And if there is no more data, it would actually end up killing its own self. And so it was gamed out, planned, and then how to take that system completely down and offline so that it would never be able to become a threat ever again. That happened. And then the physical part of it taking place to take down the systems in place that were built here with the supercomputer and with the hammer and all of its systems and how it was tied into absolutely everything. Everything that is electronic was tied into it. All these smart TVs, smart home appliances, absolutely freaking everything. It all had ears.
So let's
And there
so
were,
let's so
it's
yeah,
just,
so go ahead.
it's just the amount of digital mapping that could be done from it is an entirety of the world could be mapped out and everything and everyone on it in real time continuously. That's how incredible the system was.
So is it safe to say then, Captain, that this Planeteer has been intercepted by the good guys and they're going to weaponize their bullshit that they were going to do on us on them?
So that whole system was taken over by the White Hats before the 2016 elections.
Okay, so then you can
That's
tell
why
people.
she did not win.
Okay, okay, so you can explain to people then because there's so much talk out there, and I try to tell people when they are pushing this information about Planeteer and how they're taking all of our medical information, our driver's license
They
information.
already fucking got it.
I know.
They've had it for years. People, pull your head out of your ass. Period. Just
Thank
like
you.
Ron says, you guys are fucking stupid. They have it all. They have had it all.
Yep. And so that's what everybody you need to know when you're listening to some of these people that are out there pushing this stuff, they have already had it. So, people are freaking out about all of this stuff, but this is already, like Captain says, it's already been going on. So, we got to take a deep breath, and this is why it's so important to be careful who you're listening to and what you're putting into your mind, guys, because it's cray cray out there. So,
It's just like
yeah,
the digital system, right? The digital finances. Ooh, oh my God. The deal is they want to shut you down. How many times have you gone and then there was a fraud alert on your phone and your shit doesn't work until you actually validate it or they shut you off? They can do that. They've been able to do it for forever. And so people are so afraid that all of a sudden they can control my stuff and I can't get my, they could have shut you off at any time for any reason. They were getting to a controlled police state of where they were trying to go to. This is why the intervention of the military and the White Hats began openly pushing this operation and bringing Trump into the office because before then they were actually going to do a fucking coup and take these people down. It would have been bloody, it would have been horrible, there would have been a civil war, and humanity would have never recovered from it because they were entrenched in everything already.
yep. Yep, yep. And so everybody, just again, be careful who you're listening to. Like I said, listen to Captain's truck talk the other day. It was amazing. He breaks this whole Planeteer thing down to a T, spot on. And
And I'll
stop
go into
listening.
it even more detail today.
Yeah, you do. You want to go for it, or do you?
No,
Or
that's
you
what I
first?
did. I mean,
Oh,
I
okay.
did break it down even more today. I even showed the video of Dark Knight in it, and I posted the video right after so you could see it clearly even better. But understanding what it meant and how they can do what they do. And that was just one actual facet of the craziness of what they were able to do. And they've been able to do this stuff. You have to understand since the early 2000s. Planeteer actually became an operating program in 2002 or 2003. But DARPA actually designed it and had it fully operational because these are companies that come out of the military, out of the dark programs that they control into the public arena.
And so
And so,
they're also being exposed right now, everybody. Not only have they been intercepted by the good guys, but Trump is exposing them for what they wanted to do, right? With this with the owner of, I can't remember his name. And same thing he did with Stargate with those three dudes. If you do research on them, all three of them have nefarious ties. So remember, we're in that exposure stage. We got to remember exposure, exposure, exposure. Right,
and
Captain?
Stargate already exists. The Golden Dome already exists. They have been using it for years now. So the whenever Trump during the inauguration talked about Denali, Mount Hayes, and all that in Alaska, that's exactly what he was talking about because that's where they had the Black Pyramid that was under Denali that was trying to get access and control of this benevolent AI systems, but they could never actually operate them because they had actually got parts of different accesses around different places of the world, but they could never get into it because it actually operates through um, bioconnect. Um, uh, it operates through your consciousness, and so if you have ill intent or any ill intentions whatsoever within that, it knows it, and you would never be able to operate it, and it won't actually access, it won't turn on, nothing. And they couldn't figure it out forever. Well, this actually has been being ran and with the white hats for decades now. And so when Trump made those talks during the and brought it up specifically about renaming Mount Hayes, that was telling the deep state around the world that was still in operations that they are in control. And then when he starts calling out and saying that they're going to put together the Golden Dome, they already, this is what the system is. It's called the Golden Dome, and it works on a system of communications that's below underground that is and has been here for thousands of years, and it is so far outside of the understanding of people because you just can't fathom the capabilities of it. And this is what it is. And so Stargate, he's just telling us what they're doing. It's already here. They've already been using it. Elon has been a part of this. The military and the white hats made, let me tell you again, made Elon. Just like the
Woo!
just like the um black hats made other individuals, billionaires around the world, put them in positions of power, like Mark Zuckerberg and people. They were, he didn't invent fucking Facebook. DARPA did.
Correct.
He was the face that was allowed to be out there in the public and to reap all the benefits and so on and so forth for them to put that access and control out there into the public arena. And so what did people do? They got on there, they started sharing all their crap, their family and everything about themselves for freaking nothing. And they were just collecting all your shit. I mean, just as quick as you could feed it to them. And everybody and their brother has been a part of it and freely and willingly gave them access to everything about your life.
And still do. People still do.
Yes.
Yep. So I know a lot of people have questions here. So everybody, if you guys have questions, please feel free to start raising your hands. I will unmute your mic. Is Kelly coming in today, Captain, or she gone? Is she here today? Coming today?
I think unless something happened with her, let me try to text her.
No, no worries. I just want to make make sure she's good. She's okay. So if she comes in, I mean, obviously we'll see her come in. But so real quickly, I want to ask. Okay, so we'll talk real briefly about the Elon Trump situation real quick, and then I would like to know your opinion, how you think this is all gonna play out this weekend on Saturday. And we all know that Elon Trump stunt was. It was major trolling, and I say bravo.
It was all intentional.
Yep.
It's all a part of the damn show. I mean, you don't have someone that is the highest he's got the highest clearance out of anybody and has more government contracts, military contracts than any other private individual in history. Like I said, he was made by them. Okay. And because of that, you don't all of a sudden get flipped and say, oh, go F yourself and I don't want no part of this. No, he was exposing things that Trump can't, that have to be exposed about Congress and about them throwing all this pork and shit into the bill that is supposed to be good, but then has all this other crap in it that their worthless asses put in it. And this is the problem. And this is what has always been the problem. You have to understand we have a complete joint, Republican, so to speak, House and Senate. And they have actually passed less legislation than any other Congress in history prior to this time period that they've been in, bringing something for the president to actually sign into law. Not executive orders, actually bringing in stuff they did for him to pass as law. They've done nothing. They're worthless. And it's exposing them for their corruption.
So everybody, you
Wake up,
remember.
people.
Yeah, I agree. Wake up, not necessarily you guys, but people out there still falling for this BS. But remember the meme, everybody. It says, "Hang with me." What does it say? Hang with me. Did he call us deplorables or no? I don't know.
Yeah,
But
deplorables. You're
you're
going to love how it
like how
ends.
this movie ends. Yes. Okay. And listening to Captain and everything, kind of just the puzzle being put together. I'm over here smiling because I'm liking how it's coming together, everybody. So again, I can't tell you enough. You're not. It's time to pick a lane, everybody. You're gonna have to start picking who you're listening to, because I'm gonna tell you some of the people that we have listened to, including Captain here. He'll tell you. I'm not willing to talk about that right now, or I can't say that right now. I'm noticing, including Trump, they're being not maybe as cryptic anymore. They're coming out and they're telling us. Juan is doing it. Captain right here is
So
coming
people
out.
asked me specifically about Palantir and some of this stuff a long time ago. Okay. And I told them I cannot talk about it right now. It's not time. In this past week, it finally became the opportunity for me to finally speak what I can about it. But there's so much more that is okay. Look about the Black Rock. This is Black Rock, okay? Not Black Rock, but this is where the name comes from, okay? Black Rock. It's under the earth, and it's a rock that when it's exposed to water, it actually turns the water into oxygen. Actually, it changes its chemical state from H2O to oxygen. It breaks the molecules apart. That's the energy that is in this black rock. And it's all over the ground underneath us. It's massive. I talked about Greenland and how it ties into the supercomputer stuff and to Palantir, also to the black rocks that are under it and the energy that is a part of it. And so look up on the internet and you might find it. It's about scientists found a black rock in the deepest parts of the ocean that were causing bubbles to come from it because it was actually converting the water into oxygen. Look it the hell up. I can't tell a whole bunch more about it because it's not that time yet, but it's coming. And this is going to be a big thing. And there's so much that people don't know that has been hidden and behind the scenes that's been going on that it's going to completely blow people's minds. It really, truly is.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So everybody, yeah, again, you got to start picking who you're going to listen to. And I want to welcome Kelly to the stage or to the room, if you will. How are you, Kelly? Are you and the chickens okay?
Gosh, yeah, we had a horrible storm here today, and I have skylights, and I actually saw like a bolt of lightning light up my whole room here. And then I heard it loud crash. And when the storm stopped, which was just about 2 hours ago, I went out there and I have a big, tall, dead tree in my woods. And some huge limbs came down and landed on my chicken run. I mean, thank God they weren't in it. They were in their chicken coop. And I had to, I was out there just now for 2 hours trying to unbend the metal and get them secured in. It was crazy.
Oh, oh no. Was it like, was it an anticipated storm or was it just kind of one that just crept up on you? That's crazy.
You know, we get these, well, I'm on the coast, so we get these kind of like flash storms with kind of flash floods, but and thunderstorms, but nothing like I've never experienced anything that close to my house.
Well, I'm glad you're okay, and I'm glad those little chickens are okay too.
Yes,
So,
thank God. I was so
oh,
worried about them when I saw these tree limbs on top of their run. I was like, oh no, please don't let me see them underneath it. And they were
oh.
in their area, so all was good.
Well,
Thank
good. I'm
God.
glad. I'm glad. I'm glad everything's okay. So I mean, stay safe, girly. I mean, I know you about a year or so ago you had an accident when you fell and you were down and out for a while. So be careful.
I'm telling you, the devil's on my tail, but he's not going to catch me.
You're a strong woman for sure. I'm glad to see you here. See you here. Okay, everybody. So go ahead and start raising your hands and ask your questions away to Captain. We've got a lot of stuff going on. But Captain, real quickly before we go, if you can tell me your opinion on how you think this is going to transpire through Saturday on. I mean, obviously, it's already started to happen with the riots. But what are your thoughts?
So I don't believe that the significance of the what's taken place in DC. I don't think anything necessarily extravagant, crazy is going to happen there, other than what's actually being shown to us, right? But I could be wrong. All of these other places basically are where they're focusing on creating the chaos and the rebellion of the chaos, and whether or not that's the catalyst for this to continue, it may be. But also you have ICE, special tactics units and stuff like that, that are actually going to be just talked about today, actually, um, going to Philadelphia, going to Seattle, going to all of these major cities, and basically they're on high alert for what they're being activated to go and do. So there's a lot of shit going on, people. And the deal is that you need to just stay prepared, stay aware, and don't get scared, because there's no reason for that. Um, and stay out of the bullshit. If there's no reason to get in the potential of any of that kind of craziness, avoid it. And if you happen to get caught up in it, use your head, use wisdom, and get yourself out of it as quickly as possible and as far away from it as you can. And there's reasons why this has to happen, because this has to be these dense energies and spirits that haven't been dealt with, they've just been continually remanifested over and over and over again for all of these years, have to be dealt with. It has to be released. People have to be exposed to it, and there has to become a healing from it going forward. And we can't take this stuff into our future where it doesn't exist anymore. Not just that it's been covered up and put into the deep, dark recesses of the closet, but that it's actually been dealt with and it no longer exists. And this is what we have to do. That's the energies that are actually bombarding us right now. And a lot of stuff, transactions within your own spirit are possibly actually starting to come up, or you're dealing with them with individuals that are around you even, and they don't understand it. And that's this trying to work its way up to the surface so that it can get out, be dealt with, and be gone with. And this is a process that we're having to go through.
Thank you, Captain. All right, everybody. Miss Cal, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead and ask Captain your question.
Hi, this is going to be quite a question. I hope you can answer it. With
Go
everything,
for it.
with everything that you say they know about us, I'm trying to get my real ID. But here's the problem. I'm 74 years old. I was born in New York. I live in California. My husband and I got married when I was 16 and he was 17. They would not marry us here in the United States because he was not 18. And so we went to Mexico to get married. I thought this marriage thing I went down to the court record yesterday with this thing I have from church where they honored my marriage in the Catholic Church. Unbeknownst to me, I don't remember. I was so young that I didn't file here in the United States for a marriage certificate. So if they know everything about us, and I mean, I don't even know if I can find this. They sent documents to us when we did get married down in Mexico. I'm going to look for it. But if I don't get this, how am I going to get my real ID? I mean, if they know everything about us, they should know I'm an American citizen. And I'm really not so much worried about flying, but I think the voting going forward is going to have something to do with this. So that's why I'm really concerned about this. I don't know what to do.
Well, the problem is that until the technology is released to the public's consumption, meaning that you know about it, then that's the problem. They're only going to show you what they want you to see at the moment, and that's the systems that we have in place, which are very limited. That's why when Dodge talked about all of these different governmental agencies all having these systems that did not communicate with each other, they were all walled off from each other, and it was all done intentionally, so that each department basically had its own free will and free reign, and it was where no prying eyes could basically get into or have access to their system, so to speak. Well, that only is as good as the individuals that are operating within it, because no matter what, if it's tied to the internet, then you can get in it. And especially the quantum computer AI systems that are in place right now. There is no code, there is no security measures that it cannot get in through without even trying. I mean, just like as much as you just pushing the enter button, that's how it can get into anything. I mean, anything. Um, and there's a lot of and you can go around the world right now and listen to different financial hubs and stuff around the world, knowing that quantum computing is coming in and how incredibly fast and accurate its processing is, and that the normal bit uh, encryption that we have right now for like your passwords and like bank accounts and all that kind of stuff. Quantum computing to that is like taking a sneeze and just going right on through without even slowing down. And they've been trying to invent systems to be able to operate in the new quantum financial system that they know is coming, but they don't really know about it, so to speak. But that and who and how it actually truly operates, that they're trying to secure it so that financial transactions can't be um, basically headed off in the past, in the middle, and where funds can be accessed and things like that when you're transferring monies and different things that are moving from one place to another. And so they're having a hard time with it because they don't truly understand it, and how they know that they can't, right now it can break anything, and there's nothing that they can do to stop it. And this is like with the all the financial markets and all these big financial uh, like, investment houses and stuff like that, where they're in control of, trillions of dollars, like BlackRock and all these other companies. And the deal of that is that they already have complete access to it all, and it's all been being manipulated through the system that Palantir already has, that's working with the Hammer system. That's how they actually been manipulating the stock markets and everything all around the world for exactly whatever they want to accomplish. They've been doing this for a long time. And so the thing is that until it becomes public, and before then, actually, whenever you get to the quantum system will recognize you biometrically and exactly who you are, and be able to try to access any and all records that are through the Akashic records, and not through, like, say, hard records, like file cabinet records that were 30 years ago and potentially lost. And so that's coming. But until that gets here, you're limited with what we have in the open marketplace right this minute.
So if I can't find, I mean, I don't even know if they will. I mean, they sent it to us in the mail after we got married. It came, I don't know, a month later. It had a seal on it and all that from Mexico. But if I can't find that, I don't know what other document, other my birth certificate, that they're going. My husband passed away 7 years ago. I'm I don't even know how, if I can get this real ID right now. So what does that mean for me? I can't travel,
So
or
your birth certificate is at the county. That's where
yeah,
your
I
official birth
have that.
certificate's
I
at.
already how I just I'm just like I'm so at a loss with this because but anyway, I guess I'll try to see if I can find this document and go back there with that. I don't know what if I have find the original marriage license when I got married in 1968 and it was from Mexico, even though I'm an American citizen, will they honor that?
I don't know I can't say, because I don't know. I don't know, because it's to a different country. A lot of times whenever you got married in another country, you had to come back to the United States and then officially make it official here in the United States by getting a marriage certificate or something here in the United States, and not in another foreign country, because it's not really recognized here, other than the fact that, I mean, you say you're married there, and until you actually have to prove it, I mean, most people say they're husband and wife, and they never did anything, right? They just assume each other's identities and stuff, because you can change your name.
Well, I didn't know that. I was very young. I was very young. And then when like 7 years later, because I'm Catholic and I wanted to get married in the church, they wouldn't marry my husband and I when we were young like that because they said it wouldn't work out and then we'd be locked in forever. And so I went back there 7 years later and I said, it's 3 kids and 7 years later, will you take me now? So they married me in the church, but they knew I was already married. So I didn't officially need to get a marriage license here. They didn't ask me if, anything else. And so all these years, I was married for 50 years before my
So
husband died.
you just 7 years later went through the ceremony, but didn't make it official.
Well, I thought I did. I didn't know
Well,
that.
I mean, without doing the documentation, That's what makes it official. The other part of it is just the part of the making it official.
Well, like I said, I was very young. Nobody told me that. I would have thought the pastor of my church would have told me that. And again, I didn't know that. Like I said, I was married very young, and stayed married. My husband and I stayed married all these years. I was 16 and he was 17, and he died 7 years ago. And so he's, I mean, I was under the assumption I've been legally married.
So it doesn't sound like Captain Kyle knows the answer to your question either, Cal.
Well, okay, I
I
guess.
mean, not exactly. I mean, the deal is like I said, a marriage in the United States is basically a license, and it's an agreement with the government that you're married, and they're formally bringing you into that marriage agreement with a license. A license is anything that requires a license is something that is normally illegal, is why you have a license to do it. And it's bullshit, but it's a contract. And without the contract, just because you did it doesn't make it valid.
Now,
And if you do it
Captain,
in another country, you have to make that valid here, or they're not going to recognize it in its full entirety.
all right, cool. That was my next question. All right, thank you, Captain.
Well, thank you for taking my question. And I guess I just sit and wait and see what happens, because at this point, I don't know what to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you, Captain. Okay, AK girl, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead and ask Captain your question.
Hi, Captain Kyle and Jenny. I just want to tell you thank you. I appreciate all that you do and all your special guests that you have on. I did want to just make a comment to Cal. I had to go through the same thing. I was married for 43 years, but California gave me the real ID, but then we just moved this year to Washington State and they wouldn't take it. They said it was just the church, and it did have the stamps at the bottom, which were from the witnesses, they said, that at the wedding or whatever. But so what I did was I went to vitalstatistics.com and I just ordered it, and it literally took me 5 minutes. I did have to pay for it, and it showed up in about 2.5 weeks. And then I was able to go down and get my real ID. So I hope that helps.
Thank you, AK girl. Did you have a question for Captain or no?
No, just the
Okay.
statement.
All
Thank you.
right. Appreciate you. Thank you. And Cal, if you want to get in touch with this gal, you guys touch each other's avatars and DM one another. Maybe she can help you out. Thank you, AK. All right, let's see. Nori, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nori.
Do I need,
All right.
can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I was talking about, thinking about the soulless beings that I've heard y'all talk about in the past. And I don't fully understand it, but my question was about, can they have children? Because I think Kyle has said before that people don't know that they are. Maybe I misunderstood, but can they have children? What happens when things happen? Do they
Not
just
with another,
disappear?
only a different soulless one, but not with a soul, not with a an actual created being from spirit. No.
Okay. Okay. So will they just like disappear and then their houses will be empty or something? I don't know.
No, it's too hard to really explain, but no, it's not going to be like that. And the deal with that is that a lot of these what they're considered is NPCs, and the NPC is um it's a part of the matrix, it's part of the system. And when we go into a higher dimensional space, they don't go with us. It's not it. And in all actuality, um like whenever I talked about it in the past, when a two get together that are one being a soulless and one being having a soul, then the reason that they cannot conjugate and actually procreate is because it doesn't have a spirit, and it doesn't know that, doesn't really truly have the same kind of compassion and understanding and different traits that would be normal in that aspect. And one of them in that situation would be sterile. And there, it's impossible to procreate across creation like that naturally.
Thank you, Captain. All right, Leandria's sovereignty. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead and ask Captain Kyle your question. Hopefully I said that right. Leandria's sovereignty, go ahead.
Hi, this is Linda. I just wanted to thank you, Captain Kyle, so much for being a shining light, a lighthouse for all of us ships at sea coming into the harbor. So I appreciate you. I thank you, and I'm very grateful to God for your presence in our lives. Thank you.
Well, thank you. But the deal is I'm just a guy, just like everybody else. And the situation is that I still go through the same kind of stuff. I still have the same quirks. I still have, issues that I go through. I'm not anywhere better than anybody else because none of us are greater than anyone else. It's just that I have experienced things differently, and I woke up sooner, and I've had different ways that I think about things ever since I was little. And because of that, I know that I was not normal here. And I've known that ever since I was a little kid, and that things never made sense. I was always looking for answers and wanted to know the questions why ever since I was just a little kid. And it caused me a lot of problems as a kid because I always wanted to know why. And if I didn't get the answer, which back then it was my drunk dad saying, because I said so, and then it was me giving him the finger and then me having to deal with the consequences of that because that's the way it
Not
was. I
you,
wasn't good.
Captain.
And it was like, seriously. And then when I got big enough that I could run, I outran him, but I always had to go home eventually. And so it was a cause and effect deal. But the deal is that, we all have this same experience, same abilities. It's just what experiences that I've already gone through in the spirit with God and with my spirituality. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm still just a shithead. I really am, just like everybody else, just period. I'm not, there's nothing special about me. And I don't want anybody to think that I am. I do care a great deal about humanity, our country, and where things are going. And that's why I do what I do. And it's for the love of that. But that doesn't negate the fact that, I was just a shithead for most of my life. I really was.
Well, we're really blessed to have you, Captain. I know I feel that same way, and as do many. So we appreciate you being here, and you're very loved, just so you know. All right, Miss Kelly, do you want to read the questions, or do you want me to?
No, I can go ahead, honey.
Okay, go ahead.
Alrighty. Miss Kitty from Ohio asks, are all major cities going to be in war this weekend, and how long will it last?
To some degree, yeah. And I don't know how long it's going to last. So it's going to depend on the scale, the amplitude, and how bad it is, how much participation they get, and what they're trying to accomplish. Um, in all reality, the worse it is, the better, because that will cause the military to be activated publicly in every state, martial law actually be implemented publicly and not just in the background like it is now and being used partially as needed. And so this whole thing, this is how when Trump sent in the military and he's the Insurrection Act and all that people talk about stuff, we're already under martial law. He can do whatever he needs to. And when he talked about that while he was at Fort Bragg, telling them that he is going to do whatever he needs to, and when he was on his way to the plane, whenever he said, we're going to have military all over the place, and anywhere we see a threat, we're going to squish it, basically. Period. Ain't asking for permission. We're doing what we need to do. That's the whole mentality. And that's because we already are. And so when these people and the media and everybody else want to say all this crap, they're just talking out their butt. Because in reality, he is the most powerful person in the world, and the world knows it, because when he went overseas into Saudi Arabia and everywhere else, they greeted him as a king, because in all reality, around the world, he is actually viewed as that.
So it makes you wonder if that's why the deep state minions named their little organization No King, because
Well, of course,
they're not wanting that.
yes,
Good catch. Good
and
catch.
that's exactly the whole thing, and that's the play that they're trying to manipulate the useful idiots that don't know any better on what's actually truly happening. But Trump is saying that they're actually defending California and the republic right now. Specifically, he said that very thing.
I'm excited. Let's go.
Yeah, waiting a
And
long
so
time for this.
the worse it
Yep.
is, the better it is for us to get to where we need to go to, because shit has to basically fall apart for the military to step in, and the public, look, the public can easily be manipulated. That's why they're trying to manipulate everybody over, in California with the National Guard and, oh my God, the Marines. And well, I think Q actually told us that specific thing was going to happen. And from that actual place in California, we're going to be activated. The story's
Yep.
already been wrote.
Yep. You're correct. I saw that. I think post here recently.
And so people are being used as useful idiots because they don't know, and they're being played on their emotions, because easily people can be manipulated through emotional causes when it doesn't have any basis of fact behind it. It's just emotional. And it's easy to manipulate people when they're in an emotional state. And the more people that you get together, the easier it is to stoke that emotion, because it's a mob mentality.
Hey, Captain
And
Kyle.
yes.
Oh, no, hang on a second, Captain. Bill, we got an order here that we're doing. So I unmuted your mic, so I'll call on you when it's your turn. So go ahead, Kelly, with your next question.
Okay, let's see. Are the current riots in various cities the scare event, or do we still have a nuclear standoff to go through?
So we're going to go through more than just a nuclear standoff, but we are going to go through that. There will be, so in what I understand, there's going to be some situations that actually take place here inside of America that are going to make 9/11 look really small. But
Okay,
9/11 is not what people think it is.
you ready for the next one, Captain?
Yes.
Sherry would like to know, can the Marines shoot to kill if necessary?
Yep. You remember that order about the police, military actually being authorized to use deadly force if necessary with law enforcement?
Yep.
That was an executive order, right,
Yes.
Captain?
Yep. And the deal
Okay.
is that that will only be how it's used, and it won't be used specifically not for just normal ass people. It will be people that actually deserved it. And that's what it was for. It was actually to give them the permission to shoot and kill American citizens that were actually committing treason and working in that behalf in sedition of taking down the country.
Okay, and the fourth question is from Laura Hayes. How do you know what you know?
I can't tell you. A lot of it comes from the spirit, and then also it comes from just different people that I know that I'm developed relationships with, and it's in our conversations as well as what I do for a living. I also have proprietary information that I know things and I can talk around them, but I can't talk about them specifically because they're proprietary, period.
He knows that he knows that he knows. I love
In
it,
more
Captain.
cases than not. And I have never changed my story ever. And this is all
No.
coming to pass,
Yeah,
even when
you've
it
been
didn't look
consistent.
like it. When everybody was talking all this hunky dory shit and everything's gonna be love and peace and nothing is gonna happen, I was like, no, sorry, I don't mean to bust your bubble, but we're still going through the shit storm. We ain't happened yet. We have not gone through the near death experience. We have not gone to the precipice, and not precipice as an individual, but precedence as a country and as a nation and a world. We have not gone through that, and we will. We have to, and it's coming.
Amen. And everybody, that's what you want to stick with, the people that have been consistent throughout your journey and they've not flip-flopped through your journey in telling, giving you truth and encouragement. So again, be careful who you follow. Okay. All right.
And I don't
So
look to people for validation. So I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I don't care whether you want to hear it or not. This is what you need to hear. And this is what was hard whenever I was having to make some of these decisions months and months ago, when everybody was all happy, Trump got elected, and everything was gonna be wine and roses here on out, and we weren't gonna have to do anything and all. No, this is not the way it's going to go down. And we're going to go through all of the stuff that we have been telling you, and all these other people have been doing and saying things to basically clickbait, get people to follow them, and to run this emotional roller coaster up and down, and just go with the way things are at the moment. And they've already exposed themselves, and if you still follow them, then so be it. I mean, you need that emotional baggage.
you crack me up, Kyle.
The truth is the
Oh,
truth,
yeah, I mean, it is. It
and
is
I
what
don't
it is,
sugarcoat
right?
it. I don't, and that's what that's the way it's going to be. I don't sugarcoat it. I do walk a fine line of what I can and can't say and how much I can say. Kelly knows the line that I've had to walk for so many years, and it's a fucking hard place to be.
I can imagine. I can imagine. All right, Miss Rebel, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead and ask Captain Kyle your question. Go ahead, Rebel. Your mic is unmuted.
I'm sorry, I didn't push the button.
Okay. Well, your hand was raised, so I unmuted it. So you're good. Okay. Go ahead, Bernie R. Or did I say that right? Yeah, Bernie GR. Go ahead. Your mic is unmuted.
Indeed. I agree with everything that Captain Kyle is saying, and where we're going is pretty extraordinary. So it's not so much a question as to the extraordinary that's unfolding. And we're seeing, all the things that Trump is doing, the LA stuff, is really kind of a smoke screen for the extraordinary that's about to unfold, which is amazing. And we really need to step into that all of us are sovereign. We're not under this, mega jurisdiction. And it's not for everybody, clearly. But this is where we are. And, kind of being the tip of the spear here as the ones, listening to Captain Kyle and what you guys are doing is, out of the mainstream norm, which is pretty extraordinary and amazing and really fun. This is a very cool playground.
I would agree with that 100%.
Me too. I like how you said that. Thank you, Bernie. All right, let's see. Okay, Michelle, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead and ask Captain Kyle your question.
Hi, Captain Kyle. Hi, Jenny. I just watched the last two videos with Robert Kraft, and he had talked about like the birthing of a star, and he sounded excited. And now he's on his way somewhere close to LA with
I can't
Marines.
tell you right now. I can't tell you right now.
Okay.
Okay. But what I can do is you can come to the show on our channel on chat Sunday night. He's on there and we'll talk about these things. But I can't put the cart before the horse. You understand?
Sure.
There was things that have happened that I will talk about a little bit. And the Mormon church basically was trying, these individuals had been basically these huge organizations, okay, these NGOs basically have been trying to infiltrate what he's been doing for a long time now. They took the model in which he was doing because they knew what was actually happening, and they actually were trying to use all of their funding and all of their resources and everything else to put the cart before the horse and beat him to the punch. Okay. Well, they didn't realize that he's been operating and working with the military because he's actually doing this in these trusts so that each one of these jurisdictions can go back into the specific branches of the military that they can operate within for our benefit. Okay. And so the deal is that the they actually made a statement that they're bringing the North American jurisdiction under their authority basically August the 1st. And there's no way that he would be finished by August 1st. And so they would basically kind of beat him to the punch, so to speak. And whoever files it, whoever gets there first, it's like the Wild West. It's open jurisdiction. Okay. But the deal is that there are other entities that are making damn sure that certain things have to be done for that to be done correctly. And in his behalf, those entities are working with him for that very purpose. And that all of their T's and all of their I's are not dotted and crossed the way that they need to be. And they can say whatever they want, but it will not actually happen that way. And when he talked about the air being so much nicer up here and what is happening from that level, he was talking about specifically, and I say it, but he can't, that Space Force is actually operating and working in his behalf to help him facilitate the things that need to be done. So the other
Thank you.
part of that I cannot say at this point, though. And that's the process in which is actually taking place. And that's why if you watch those other two videos and he was talking kind of smack about the Brotherhood, I mean the Muslim Brotherhood, and how they were trying to do what they were doing, and they were coming in and trying to basically beat him to the punch, but that there were these adversaries that were actually doing this, that meaning the Mormon Church and the Muslim Brotherhood, and they were going to split up the jurisdictions and all this kind of stuff. Well, they were not on the path that they needed to be, and it was not going to happen the way that they want it to be, because that would be nothing different than the way we have it now, with the bar association being in control and having that all under their manipulation and not in the people's control, for equity and general law and all that stuff. Well, sorry, but this whole plan is not going to come apart because these criminal organizations want to jump to the gun and get it done. Sorry, but go fuck yourself. Excuse my French, but that's the way it is.
Thank you, Captain. And thank you, Michelle. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, it's a good
Thank
question.
you.
Yeah, and Kelly or Captain, if you can send me those two podcasts that you're talking about that you did with him, I'll post them here on the wall because I would be very interested in listening to him. Okay, Mama M, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead and ask Captain Kyle your question. Go ahead, Mama M. All right, JL, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. I need my Jeopardy music. Do, 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 do. All right, Miss Patty, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, and hi to Captain, and thanks, Jenny. Captain, the question I have for you, do you feel like, just your opinion, is there any relevance to President Trump and Melania going to the Kennedy Center tonight for the Les Miserables musical story and what it's based on? Is there any relevance to him going there tonight?
Yeah, it's probably like 10 different things, but I mean, I'm not sure exactly.
Okay,
I'd be
well,
speaking out of turn, but
okay.
they don't do anything. I mean, absolutely nothing without some kind of show behind it, meaning, or someone comes, everything that they do has purpose. And I mean, absolutely everything.
Right. And so that's kind of what I figured. But the story resolution against the background of the June Rebellion of 1832, I just thought it was interesting, and I just wondered if you had an opinion. But you're right. I agree. They always do something for a reason. So
I,
I just thought
I
I would
don't
ask.
really. And if I did, it would just be my opinion and don't matter.
Okay. Thanks.
You're
Thank you, Miss Patty. All right, Bill Wright, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Your turn.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Good talking to you, Kyle, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to say something again. And regarding the no kings, I did a little bit more rabbit hole research on the words no kings. I don't know if y'all know about that, but there was a no kings revolution in the early 1800s, I believe, or somewhere in the late 1700s, where they used it also, the no kings phrase, as to separate themselves from the British kingdom. So I don't know, Kyle, if you want to look into that. No king's phrase of a revolution or rebellion back in the 1800s.
so
I looked it
yeah,
up.
it does actually have that. And the deal is that a lot of this is actually bringing down and the um, exposing the monarchy, um, for basically, um, a lot of the stuff that's going on within the United States, and about they're not happy because of the fact that the crown and the monarchy was basically dissolved. And but to the people don't know about all this stuff yet, and they have to actually understand it and learn it. A lot of people that are British, they older people, even though they know that the crown and stuff is somewhat corrupt, they still have reverence to it just because that's who they are. That's what they've believed their whole life, and they're still in awe of the royalties. But this is all about exposing all of that and how that they have been basically institutions that have been operating within the United States, like the Bar Association, the Crown Corporation, and everything else for going back all the way to the 1800s. So
Exactly. I
this is
understand.
about breaking it all down, all of it.
Okay. Yeah, and I understand all that, and that's what I'm wanted to come to the point now too, where I'm thinking maybe where I'm going down my thought process is the same when in the Q drops was posted, the shot heard around the world. The shot heard around the world is also in a poem in the 1700s written. The shot heard around the world. So there's also a poem where it was put in first. So where my thoughts is going in that the white hats are using these kind of specific verbiages in our time now to bring that kind of revolution back, but it's a mirror thing because also the shot, the assassination attempt, in my beliefs, it was a military operation when you look into page 11 of the handbook of the Special Operations Manual, and now also with the riots in the
Absolutely, I know
military.
exactly what actually happened there. I mean,
Yes.
they
So
they
that's
actually
why
did it all.
yeah, so that's what I'm thinking right now. Maybe you can put your thoughts in that the shot heard around the clock, the world, no kings, and I don't know, one or two other things are historical, very, very deep. I learned it all from my old lady because she's very well written in the old literature. So that's how I know about all this
So
because you
that's
can't.
what they do is they use the things in which have been used in the past. Now they're flipping them to use those very same things with multiple meanings against their adversaries
Okay, good.
and
So
in
I'm
their
on the
face. Yes,
I'm
you
on
are
the
on the
right
right
track.
track, but it actually
Okay.
means multiple meanings, and that is
Okay.
one of them, though.
Okay. I don't follow a whole lot of people anymore. Like you're saying, I cut a lot of people off. I'm in this rabbit hole since also 10, 12 years now. So anything, thank you for everything, what you're doing, all the great connections you're making. And Jenny, also everything what y'all doing is incredible. And yeah, my name is not really Bill Wright, but I bet y'all know that. And some people know me also under my name, real name. So
It's all good.
thank you so much for everything and saying good that I am on the right track with the mirror and the smoke screens and the deception of putting the eyes there, what is going on in Saudi Arabia
Everything
and
is
Iran.
look over
Okay, good,
here
good.
so you don't
Yeah.
see what we're doing over there on
Smoke and
So I'm
purpose.
mirrors.
looking.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Bill.
you. Thank you.
All right, Miss Kelly, go ahead, my friend.
Okay. See, where was I? Doc Raw would like to know, or she says, this feels like George Floyd riots years ago. Hopefully, it's now the end of the cycle. Will the EBS be in just local regional pockets, or will it be full on entire USA or globally?
So the EBS is not for local, it's not for national, it's for the world. And until we get to that stage, we're not going to have it. Now, we may have localized EBSs for certain emergency services that are going on specifically in that area, but the actual EAS is designed specifically for the near death experience situation that's coming. And it's been established and set up to where there will be no place that that coverage does not actually reach worldwide. Until we get there, it's, it's like everybody wants to know when it's happened, but until we're in that state of chaos, it isn't coming. It's like you may get one because you got a tornado that's coming right at you and they're trying to let you know, yeah, that's a pretty big deal. You got a tornado, it's headed right at you. You need to get your ass into cover, whatever. Um, but that's not the one that's going to be the near death experience for the species. That's what we actually are coming towards. A precipice. And until we get to the precipice point, that means the cliff in which we may go over that there's no recovering from. We're not there yet.
Okay, Captain, I'm going to read these next two questions together because they're kind of similar. Virgo indeed says, will we be able to celebrate by July 4th and have some financial relief by then? Or will we still be going through it? And M asks, how long are we looking at for the birth?
So nobody knows intentionally when and the financial system is going to switch. Nobody. There's only a handful of people in the world to know. Everybody else is speculating. Everybody else looking at the different situations that are being prepared for it, knowing that it's coming, but don't know exactly when. That's just the way it is. Now, a lot of shit's going to happen between now and July the 4th. And I mean a lot. So buckle the fuck up. I'm just telling you like it is. And stay prepared. Stay prepared. And don't let things catch you off guard. Just plain and simple. Financially, when things change, everything's going to change very quickly after that. And that's going to be a help for the healing and the recovery process, because the debt slavery that we're all under will be removed. And when that happens, then we'll begin to know true freedom, even though we've not really ever experienced it. It's going to be the mechanism that helps us to begin the healing process, because I've said this for years and years and years, that we're going to go through a period of time of between 6 and 8 months of a healing process. And that's going to be a major mechanism to undo all of those stresses and burdens on people, to allow the healing process to truly take place.
Okay, and then the last one is, are the riots just a cover for the military to do another different operation?
It's both. It's about what they're doing, but also having people expose themselves and commit the crimes that they need to, so that they can be dealt with as well. There's a lot of sleepers out there, a lot. And until they're activated, they haven't committed the crime yet, but they have every intention to.
They have to commit the crime to do the time, everybody. Kelly, if you want to read that next one, because the two that you put together are kind of, in the same line of questioning. So if you want to read that one from Kyle, go
Okay.
ahead.
Alrighty, and just I wanted to ask Captain something in reference to what that question was. Captain, did you happen to get a chance to read the post I made earlier today on that Task Force 51, which is the Marines?
No, sorry, I
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
Unfortunately, I have not been on Telegram all day long, really.
So they work with the Navy, and specifically with ships and protecting the coastline, and
So
they're
yeah, I know.
is it
Yeah, and their whole
ambiguous.
thing is their regiment is to basically deploy and to activate from military personnel from a sea-based situation to operations on land,
So I
and being able
find
to
that
control
really
that stuff.
interesting because they picked that specifically, right? And then they go on to say how they're also training in crowd control, whatever. But when she
And that
says
is
that
not their
they're
specialty.
right, so why
Their
would they
specialty is
send
knocking
them?
fucking heads.
And what if, we finally come to the point where this is the watch the water? Because we've heard that a million times, but that when I read what they do, I was like, the water,
They're an amphibious assault group.
right?
They're an assault group that comes from the water.
Very interesting.
Yes, very much so. To take control over land situations and to orchestrate the naval assets into being able to land-based targets.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of roles that they actually do play in that very thing. So when you say an amphibious assault group, what's an assault group? An assault group is somebody that comes in and they fuck shit up, just plain and simple. And the deal with that is that they're tied to the military and I mean the Navy and all of the Navy assets that they bring with them. And it's like, how many freaking naval battleships and naval asset groups do we have at our southern borders right now in the Gulf of Mexico and in the Pacific dealing with stuff that you've got no idea what they're actually really doing? But these battle groups have been the groups that's been over there in the Red Sea dealing with the Houthis.
Yeah.
And now
So
they're here right off our coast,
yeah.
actually doing the same thing, and you don't really know nothing about what they're doing. And
So
I'm not going to tell you.
one of the little screenshots that I included was amphibious warfare is a military strategy where naval and ground forces work together to attack a hostile shore from the sea. It involves projecting power from ships to land, often using specialized landing craft and support from naval and air forces.
Yep, that's all of the assets that they bring to the table. And they're specialized in exactly what they do. It's like, you know, everybody knows the SEALs, right? Because the SEALs are what they talk about, right? And that they're basically the ones that everybody acknowledges and they think that the SEALs are the best. Well, there are other tier one assets that are well above them and they are like, they don't exist. And that would be like your Delta forces. They don't talk about them at all because they don't acknowledge them as that they are who they are. But they do everything to a level that is really incomprehensible. But there's a few assets that are out there that don't exist that you'll never see them coming ever.
So hopefully that will give a little bit better perspective on that question because there's a lot to unpack there if y'all want to research that.
And I can only say what I can say, and I'm not going to say anything of operational stuff that is or is not going on until it's over with. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. But guess what? Our Marines have been there and actively doing stuff, and not just there, but all over the United States for ever since we went into martial law in 2017. Yes.
All right. So this last question that Jenny was speaking of is from Kyle. number 17, Truthaholic, asked, I have not filed 23 and 24 taxes. I received a letter from the IRS last week asking me or telling me that I did not file 23 taxes. I have heard you speak of this before, and when you file, that is the catch in their illegal game. Not sure what to do at this point, and am confused why I would get this letter now. In your opinion, should I ignore it, or I am concerned that if I file, I'm stuck?
Okay, so I get those letters. Well, I hadn't got one in a couple of years because you got to understand something. The taxes in which I pay are more than most actual salaries. It's more than the median income of the United States. Okay. And that's just taxes. I have not filed my taxes personally since 2019, going into 2020, filing the beginning of 2020. That was the last time I filed my taxes, and I will not file them again. That's me personally. You do whatever you do, but you have to be willing to take that fight up if you have to. I have taken those fights up, and I've taken on, Kelly knows this very well, that I've taken these corporate battles. I've taken on mortgage companies, law firms, and you name it, for all kinds of fraud and abuse, and you name it, I've taken them up, and I've been fighting fights in the courthouse for 20 freaking years. So if you're willing to go down that path, do what you do. If you're not willing to go down that path, then you have to make that decision for yourself. Not to say you are going to, but they want to know why you haven't filed, and you're in their system to file. And when you haven't, then they're wanting to know why. That's why they're sending it out. And it's like anybody else. When you're in the system and you're a customer, and all of a sudden you stop being a customer, they're going to send out, are you okay? What's going on? Well, there it says, hey, you hadn't filed your taxes. We know you're still alive and you're still working. What's going on here, so to speak, right? And so that's them trying to bring you back into the system and to continue down that path. But whatever you choose, it has to be what you choose and the potential consequences of your choice and actions until things change. Right now, they haven't changed. So that's why I said I've gone down these court battles and so on and so forth, because I have to still continually fight in the system that is still presented to me as what we're operating in, even though I know it's contrary to what I know. But it is what it is, and that's just what I have to operate within. And I have to deal with that. It sucks, but it is what it is. So those have to be your choices and not my opinion. I'm just telling you what I do and what I go through because of the choices that I make.
Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Kelly. All right. How are you doing on time, friend?
One question.
One question. You got it. All right, Mr. Tom McWhorter, your question. That is your question. Go ahead.
Are you there?
We're
Yes.
here.
Okay, look, Captain Kyle, had a question. How, with the military, um, the martial law going on, how active do you think criminal courts are right now on a county level?
They're operating under continuity of government. So they're operating as everything is the same, but they're not in that aspect because they've lost jurisdiction. They've lost their actual real thing, but under continuity of government, so that the public doesn't freak out and all chaos break out, everything has to continue to operate under the status quo until everything gets changed. It has to go that way. That's what continuity of government actually means, so that people don't freak out and panic.
Okay. I was just wondering, I know a couple of people that are under trumped up felony charges, aggravated assault, and nothing seems to be coming from either one of those cases.
And usually
So
it doesn't. The deal is that this system is all designed because it's a commerce system, right? About how much money can be generated over the length of the case. And so it will come to court, it'll get stayed, and it'll get postponed, and it'll get postponed, and it'll get postponed, and it'll be rescheduled. And this shit goes on for months and years. It's
good.
ridiculous.
We need
And it's
years.
all about every time they show up to court, they charge for it, though.
Yeah.
Whether it be the state, whether it's whoever's paying the bill, that's who is being charged over and over and over again. It's about racking up financial recovery because this is nothing more than a commerce of trade.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame to watch this happen. They want this bail, and when you get bail like that, then they basically are convicting you. You can't be around your guns anymore. It's like what is that all about? You don't have any freedoms. Nobody was hurt. There's no victim. You know.
It's a scam. It is what it is. We have to deal with the things in which we have at our disposal right now. It's like, okay, so I just settled a big lawsuit that I had that I agreed to settle in September of last year. And they drug their freaking feet between the courts, the attorneys, and all of these different case people, because it was a bunch of different people that were involved in this, attorney's firm for malpractice and all kinds of shit. And all of these different entities drug their feet back and forth in and out of the court and so on and so forth. And it didn't actually finish until the middle of May.
Ugh. Oh
because they
gosh.
were all still on the tit.
Yeah. I heard that
6 months,
I heard
8
that
months.
I heard that the judge could go over and gives the prosecutor some sort of bonus for a win, and then that prosecutor will actually give money to your attorney, that the defendant's attorney
It's
for
a good old boys network, and you ain't a part of it.
yeah, I know. Isn't that great? I mean, how wonderful is that? Just spread it all around.
Yeah. So you
Well,
can ask Kelly. Kelly, well, how frustrated was I through that whole damn thing for years and years and years?
It was horrible. It really was. I
And
don't know
I
how he
still,
did it.
and I just beat them at their own game. I have to be stronger than them because their idea is to break you down in the process. And I'm like, that ain't gonna happen. I've already won 7 different cases over the years, and you're just another fucking one. Is all I'm concerned about. I know the
yeah,
process, and this is how it's gonna go.
they want you to plea out and admit your guilt to something you're not guilty with. So
It's ridiculous, but
yeah.
mine's not that thing, but it's different, and it's holding people accountable.
Did you ever get your sovereignty? Did you ever do that?
No, I don't. I'm not going down that path. Never worried about it.
Yeah, I didn't either. But I ran into a Marine the other day that had sovereignty on a license plate that said not for hire, and he's walking, and he's just cruising around having a great time and drinking a beer, like nobody can pull me over. It's just, I was like, okay, well, I guess
So
it's all
there's
his
things that
response.
I know that I can do to do that same thing, and there's a lot of stuff that can be done, and basically you can make yourself untouchable. It's not that big a deal. It really is. It's just knowing the right things to do.
Yeah.
So
Well, look, thank you guys. Thank you, Captain, Kelly, Jenny. Y'all have a great program. I appreciate y'all, and y'all have a wonderful evening. Okay.
all right,
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Captain Kelly. Captain Kelly. Thank you, Captain and Kelly, for being here. Captain, everybody is here every other Wednesday. So you'll be back here in 2 weeks if everything is as is and we're not
so
down.
be it. So be
All
it.
right, guys. Everybody have a great weekend. Love you, Captain. Love you, Kelly. Stay safe out there. Head on a swivel. Pay attention, everybody. And come back with us here on Friday. We'll have Field McConnell as well as Troy Lett. So with that, Captain, thank you once again, Kelly. And thank you. And go take care of your little chickens.
Yes,
All
thank
right.
you,
See you
Jenny.
later.
Love you guys.
Bye,
Good
guys.
Love
night.
you guys. Bye.